Hey folks, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I'm making a quick video here about Oracle Dice. Oracle Dice is a way for DMs during game to come up with answers when they don't know what the answer is supposed to be. A lot of times you could frame a question as a yes or no question, like for example, if the players steal the orc's dinner, will the orc attack? You could flip a coin as a yes or no, heads yes, tails no. But I like using something with a little bit more nuance. So let me demonstrate that for you. I use two 6-sided dice. So I'll roll two 6-sided dice together at the same time, and whichever die is closer to me is the question, and the one that's further away is the answer. The question sets how likely is it that the answer is yes, and the second die has to equal or exceed the first die for the answer to actually be a yes. Otherwise, it's a no because you failed the die roll. It becomes a no. So let's look at this in practice. Just the example that we used. If the characters steal the orc's dinner, how likely is it that the orc is going to be angry? On a scale, we'll do the 2d6 method here. I rolled a 1 as the question and a 3 as the answer. So on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being absolutely yes, and 6 being almost impossible, then I rolled a 1. So it is guaranteed the orc is going to be angry. So that's a degree of nuance that you have on a scale of 1 to 6. How likely is the answer to be a yes? And then the second die, I can't fail. Even if I roll a 1 or above, the answer is still going to end up confirming a yes. The orc is guaranteed to be angry about this. If I had rolled a 1 and a 1, then the orc would have the minimum amount of anger, just irritated that someone stole his stuff. But if I say rolled a 6, he's going to go nuclear in absolutely rage of how many people keep stealing his dinner. So this creates a degree of how likely is it, and then a degree of how passionate is the response. So let's apply this to a more complicated scenario. Characters are going to encounter bandits on a road that have attacked and are now looting a stagecoach. So if the characters decide to intervene and try to drive off the bandits, how likely, on a scale of 1 to 6, or will the bandits defend the wagon? So we're going to roll two 6-sided dice. The first one is how likely are they to defend it? And on this, on a scale of 1 to 6, 6 being they are absolutely not interested in defending it, but they might. Then I have a 5. So I have to roll a 5 or a 6 for them to actually risk themselves to defend this wagon. And I rolled a 5. So despite it being highly unlikely, they do anyway. So now my job as a DM is to translate these die results into a narrative circumstance. So it's highly unlikely that they're going to be wanting to defend the cart. That means that there's probably nothing really worth valuable on it to defend. They haven't finished looting it, perhaps, but it's looking like these guys don't have anything. It was a complete waste of time, and if they've already been injured as a result of attacking it, they're probably going to want to retreat. But they rolled a 5 anyway, so even though it seems like it isn't worth anything, they are willing to defend it and even potentially die over it. So what does that mean? That's a highly passionate situation on something that doesn't look like it has much value. So there's probably something else going on here. Is there a motive that's causing them to risk themselves over something that seems so inconsequential? I don't know. Let's roll the dice again and see what happens. On a scale of 1 to 6, their level of desperation, they are very desperate to do something, to make something out of this cart. And they are very passionate, because I rolled a high result. They're highly passionate to stay engaged and to loot this. So what that might that mean? Maybe, for example, maybe these bandits are part of a larger bandit gang, and this particular group of bandits are the failures. They just keep screwing up. They've been given one last chance to loot something, prove that they are worth the food and effort keeping them around. Otherwise, they're going to get exiled, or if they come around, potentially killed if they come back empty-handed. So even though this cart doesn't have anything of value on it, they are willing to fight the characters to defend it. Now that we're thinking about that circumstance and they are highly motivated to attack the characters, maybe they're like, we realize that there's nothing on this card, but holy crap, these adventurers just showed up. If we can ambush the adventurers, I bet they have loot. So now we have a scenario where the bandits are absolutely passionate about defeating the characters because they got lucky and adventurers showed up. And if the bandits are lucky, they can defeat the characters and take their stuff and actually end up with something. So now we have a new dimension to the plot of what's going on with the characters. And this is highly improvised because you're doing this at the table in front of the players when they create a situation that you don't know how the NPCs or the world is going to respond to it. So you can use these Bastion dice to crack out some quick variables to see how likely is it to happen and does it happen anyway. Highly likely to happen and it barely happens. Let's do one more. So they're fighting the characters, and let's say the characters get into a conversation with them. If the players try to reason with the bandits, how likely is it that the bandits are willing to stop fighting and actually engage the characters in parley? On a 1 out of 6, it is highly likely that the bandits are willing to engage the characters in parley, and we rolled a 4 out of 6. So if the characters are like, hey, what's going on? The bandits maybe initially were thinking maybe we can fight these guys, but if the characters start saying, hey, why are you guys involved with this? Maybe one of them decides to open up about how difficult it's been being a bandit. And like maybe your characters had been hired to clean up the highways to keep bandits clear. And now they're seeing, okay, well, it looks like bandits are having a hard time looting in general. That's good for us. These guys are, say, willing to turn on their bandit chief. Tell you what, we'll let you go. We're going to give you some coin. You go back to town. Help these people out, okay? Help these people out. Go back to town with them and show us where the bandit camp is. We're going to take the bandit camp. We didn't see you. And we can just walk away from this and you can walk away. Here's some coin to help these people. We'll see you on the other side. And maybe the bandits decide to betray the characters anyway. And that could be something that you as a DM can be thinking in the back of their mind. But now you've created a scenario where these bandits who were looking at a no-win situation and having to potentially risk their lives to fight you to get some sort of loot, your character opened up an opportunity for them to keep their lives and get some coin and get out of this no-win situation. And because you rolled a 4 on 2, they take that opportunity. So now you've opened up this new option. You're pointing the way to where the bandit camp is so you can zero in on your actual quest. And you're helping reform bandits along the way. So like maybe these bandits, are the bandits going to actually follow through, take your coin as payment, and actually help the villagers get back to town, apologize, try to make amends, and will they be there in town for when the characters return from the bandit camp? Let's find out. It's highly likely that they will, and they're actually really passionate about this. So whatever happened in that conversation, it is having them reevaluate their circumstances. The bandits are being attacked by trained adventurers. Apparently, this bandit camp was probably going to get taken down by deputies at some point anyway. This was an awesome opportunity for them to maybe they'll have to do some time or have some sort of maybe they can be pardoned for helping resolve the bandit camp with the adventurers. But the adventurers will be able to vouch for them if they get back home. They go back to the village, and it turns out that maybe, like, do they have things in common with the villagers on their walk home? No. There's actually, the villagers are actually pretty angry about it. So by the time the characters get back from the bandit camp, the bandits that had decided to actually stick through and help the characters by getting these villagers back to town, they're now being persecuted, and they're potentially going to get hanged. So when the characters get back to town, they discover that these bandits that were willing to have a change of heart are now potentially going to get killed because they were willing to take a chance on the characters offering them reform, and they feel kind of burned. So now the players may feel motivated to act as advocates for these random bandits when they come back from town to save their lives. And now that becomes a new scenario. You can just keep pouring down, you just keep going down the rabbit hole. But now you're setting up this court circumstance where maybe you wouldn't have even thought about it, but because these random dice created this scenario and your characters latch onto it, now they're having this court hearing where they're trying to protect the lives of bandits they don't even know, but we're willing to give them information to defeat the actual problem that the town paid them to resolve. It's like, hey, these bandits were helping us get that taken care of. We should do something better than hang them, don't you think? And then they can go and try to persuade, and like the bard uses inspiration and stuff like that, and it becomes a little social encounter for you guys to mess around with once you get back to town, potentially adding additional dimensions of interest in your campaign. And that was just because you rolled some oracle dice to see what's going on in your world, because you left that open. So if you leave this space open in your game, and if the characters catch you off guard, that's an opportunity for the DM to be able to get to play at the same time by throwing some dice and then improvising. What do these dice mean? How can that build motivation, complications, and interest inside of your campaign world? And that could just take the adventure off in a completely different direction. And that's some of the most fun things about playing D&D is that it can just go off in a random direction and end up being like a really fun time. So find your own system. You can try this out if you want, or there's a lot of different ways you could do it. You can go online and look up Oracle dice. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. This is just the way that I like to do it. So that's Oracle dice. Thanks a lot. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.